Blake Production.
Yo, what's poppin'? The Glxy gang. Let's talk about this. I had a few people mention like the year to day cup and handle, so let's take a look at that real quick. We'll go to the year to day, and I could see where like you get the idea of that from, right? It's coming up here. We have this cup, and now we're creating the handle. Sure, that could potentially be the play, right? But whenever it comes to this name, I want to think of the bigger picture here, right? So we zoom out, we go to the weekly time frame. We're still in this falling wedge that's happening, right? There's still a weekly bullish divergence, right? So this could take another several weeks to play out, right? We could come and revisit this lower trend line, and that would bring us closer towards that 240 range. And still, the weekly divergence and the falling wedge would be in play. Now, when I say that I'm looking like longer term and I'm trying to look at the bigger picture, we've had this massive accumulation in price. We had a massive decrease in price. Now, look at the two different emotions there, right? I have it pointed out here where there's a mad euphoria, and over here it's pretty dead. Like pretty much people are fearful, people are kind of like in denial, like nah, this is trash, it's going to zero, there's no belief, right? Capitulation has occurred. So now what we could potentially need to see in the next, who knows, maybe a year. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, well, most importantly, we all know this, the Bitcoin halving is coming in around like a year and 30 days or something like that. So keep that in mind. Like that is the driver of the entire stock, essentially. Well, it's the entire driver of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has a lot to do with this stock. So another thing I wanted to point out here is if we zoom back, right, this is what price looked like back in 2018 all the way to 2020. Like, look how long, that's like a long period of time where we pretty much stay sideways here. From 85 cents to 281. Like, that's a pretty big range too, right? So that's like a 230% range that could bring us as far down as like 70%, right? So we stayed in that range for a long period of time before we got that big pop, right? So what I want to bring to our attention here, and it's something that we shouldn't really ignore, is that we could be just sitting in this potential range now where maybe this is the low, right? 322 is the low. And maybe we have to sit inside of this range where we made highs of maybe a little bit lower here. Yeah, around $6, say. What if we go from 322 to $6 for about a year before we get that push to the upside? Like, these are the things I want to kind of bring forward to our attention. Like, I consider myself an investor and trader, right? So like, I want to be open to all scenarios here. We could go lower, touching this lower trend line, bringing us down to 230. We could go sideways for a year, right? We have inflation, like fear. We have interest rate hikes. That is also bringing fear to the market. That could bring a lot of foreclosures in the real estate market throughout their year. Like, that could be a sign where people have to be taking out their assets in order to pay these loans, pay off these debts, etc. Now, and then of course the big one of them all, World War III, right? There's a bunch of bearish shit going on. So I don't want to just be blindly bullish because I like the stock. I love the stock, of course, but I think that it might take a little bit longer than we are anticipating in order to get that push to the upside. So what we're looking at right now, I'm going to delete some of that and look at the daily time frame. And what we need to look at on the daily time frame is that we've had this acting as support, right? We had this large push to the upside. We might need to just sit in that zone for a bit and really develop a base over here, right? We've only really revisited it one time. Where over here we had several touches as a resistance. Maybe we need several touches to make it support. So I just want to highlight these things. I'm still overall bullish long term, especially with the Bitcoin halving, especially with all these new acquisitions that Glxy are doing to strengthen the company. I think there's a big potential case where this might blow up in the next bull run. So I want to position myself correctly with the right mindset in order to fully capitalize on this next potential move in the next few years, right? So that's the breakdown here on Glxy. Peace, guys.